We are, again, targeting a docking no earlier than 12:33 p.m. Central Time. This comes after some troubleshooting of some reaction control system thrusters. Those are also known as RCS thrusters on the service module portion of the Starliner spacecraft.
Ascent begins at T-0, liftoff, the end of the countdown, and the beginning of the mission. Shortly afterwards, at T+12 seconds, the rocket rolls, lining up Starliner with its target orbit, and then around T+40 seconds, max Q starts. That's also known as max aerodynamic pressure. This is a critical time when the atmospheric forces reach their highest. Next, at about +1 minute 35 seconds, the two solid rocket boosters run out of fuel and burn out, and about a minute later they separate from the booster. The Atlas booster engine continues to burn for almost 2 more minutes. Then at approximately +4:30, booster engine cutoff, or BECO. About 5 seconds later, the booster separates, and so does the ascent cover on top of Starliner. At around 4 minutes 45 seconds, the Centaur upper stage ignites, continuing the push to orbital speeds. Then a little after 5 minutes, Starliner is free of the atmosphere and doesn't need additional aerodynamic support, and the aeroskirt is jettisoned. After a long 6+ minute push from Centaur, main engine cutoff, or MECO, happens around 12 minutes after liftoff. Then, when Centaur successfully separates almost 15 minutes after launch, ULA's job is done. But Starliner is not quite in orbit yet. After a 16-minute coast, Starliner ignites 4 of its orbital maneuvering and attitude control, or OMAC engines, for the orbital insertion burn, and then 31 minutes after liftoff, the ascent profile is complete.
Sunny designed their mission patch, and every detail has meaning. The 7 stars in the background represent the astronauts who travel to space as part of the Mercury program. The astronaut symbol at the bottom between Butch and Sunny's names represent all who will follow in their footsteps after this flight. The orange border is a nod to this being a flight test. Earth's blue marbling represents Sunny's love of the ocean. And of course, you have Starliner and the Atlas V rocket there in the middle, with the ISS above it, signifying Starliner's first destination in space.
And here it comes.
Here they come, our CFT crew taking their first steps outside for their historic flight test to the International Space Station. Commander Butch Wilmore and pilot Sunny Williams. Pausing for a second, a wave from both of them as they walk on over to family and friends. I think they're throwing out mission patches. Was that it?
I was out at the pad. The rocket remains ready, waiting on the opening of today's launch window.
Roger.
You can see things seem to be going well. The crew access tower is ready, and the team here is hoping for cool runnings as we march toward liftoff.
Was saying that the cameras are out of configuration in level 12. That's again just this level, like outside. Nothing with the rocket or the spacecraft. It's just, right, Mike, cameras that are on the...
That's exactly it. There's cameras, I don't say everywhere, but as you can see, we all can see where Sunny's taking a quick look at last look at planet Earth for a while, looking out over the ocean, saying hi to us. Hi, Sunny.
I think he's saying hi to you. That's right. Just you, Mike. We know she is calling Steve Govain, NASA Commercial Crew Operations Lead, and so as we see Butch getting in there, tight squeeze it looks like a little bit. Mike?
Oh yes, but it's definitely there's definitely a lot more legroom than we had in the Soyuz. Maybe a little less than the shuttle, but I call it cozy. It's quite comfortable, and it's once Butch gets strapped in all the way and has finished his checks, he might have a few extra moments for another micro nap. I know I would if I were there.
Micro naps are important. Power naps, yeah.
We're able to fly past the rocket, and it looked like this, and it's just a really beautiful sight. And I'm really glad we have a chance to see it today. You can see the creative engineering that it went to make the Atlas and the Centaur upper stage, and Starliner sitting on top. It has an aeroskirt around it to prevent any trouble with the avionics, aviation electronics. You know, all the control boxes on board the Centaur, and it's a beautiful sight to behold. You can see that. The steam, it looks like, coming out of the side of the rocket there. That's nothing to be afraid of or scared. That's expected. That's actually, as we have the first stage is powered with liquid oxygen and kerosene, or RP1, rocket propulsion 1. So liquid oxygen actually boils off because it's not, at that temperature and pressure, it just wants to become a gas. So as we go from liquid to gas, you can kind of see it boiling off. And then we have some top-up valves that replenish the liquid oxygen both on the first stage and the second stage.
And those.
Thank you, LC. For everybody listening, just a thought. Sonny and I, as we were traveling to the pad, we saw many American flags, and many of you were waving flags at us. And then as we reached the pad, we look up, and of course there's that American flag on the side of the White Room, also one on the side of the rocket itself. And we know that that represents unity and resilience and unified efforts for the common good. And that's what Sonny and I have witnessed this last month. Each of you displaying what this nation's forefathers envisioned, a people committed to God, family, and country, a people who use their gifts and talents for the common good, and are passionate and tough. And we all know that when the going you have, and Sonny and I are honored to share this dream of spaceflight with each and every one of you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes, drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
Commander Butch Wilmer there, calling down to Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the right attitude for its ascent, and the Guidance, Navigation, and Control Officer here in the room seeing good data on that.
Starliner passing through max Q, or the point of maximum dynamic pressure where the forces of air friction are highest, which in Sunny will shortly be passing through Mach 1, where the speed of sound.
Good handle. Good handle.
That call, good handle, from Capcom Joshua Kutrick, indicating that the crew now has the ability to initiate an abort manually if needed. All looking good so far. Now 2 minutes into Starliner's flight and coming up on the solid rocket booster jettison at the 2-minute and 40-second mark. The solid rocket boosters have now been jettisoned after seeing Starliner through its first 90 seconds of flight. Team on the ground here confirming that it was a good jettison and that the vehicle's trajectory continues to look good. Now 3 minutes into today's flight.
And update the position inside of the position orientation of Starliner inside of its guidance, navigation, and control algorithms.
Go ahead, Starliner. Houston.
Yeah, you do have good cooling. The sublimator is working. We are watching it, though, because the water usage is just a little more than we thought we were going to see. You probably noticed that. It's a reason for the advisory there. From the ground, we'd like to swap you over to the other leg. So we're going to close sublimator leg 1, wait for about 60 seconds, and then open up leg 2. You'll see us do that. No impact or action.
Okay.
And it kind of muddied the rates for B1A3. So to get confidence back in it, what we're going to do here is we're going to have you go, we'll have you go to point hold and manual, right? And then we're going to sweeten up the station keeping.
We are, again, targeting a docking no earlier than 12:33 p.m. Central Time. This comes after some troubleshooting of some reaction control system thrusters. Those are also known as RCS thrusters on the service module portion of the Starliner spacecraft.
Station is getting a good view of Starliner with the lighting coming from that direction. We're waiting for the Earth to spin a little bit more, sun to move relatively, so Starliner gets a good set of lighting on station, and we'll continue the approach towards the No. 24 docking port.
Houston copies, and Starliner, we're expecting 6-minute lighting hold before NDS configures for docking.
Station Houston on the big loop. Starliner's at the 10-meter hold point. ISS crew perform 1.106, step 1.2.
Station copies on the big loop. Executing 1.2 of 1.106. ISS crew ready for final approach.
Houston copies.
Starliner Houston, got your fill-ins for your step 31. The maneuver to target align will be at 17:27:40. Expect final approach at 17:30. We're going to have 47 minutes of margin. Starliner Houston on the big loop. We've all been waiting a little while for this call. That was an OK 3-wire, Fly Navy, docking complete.